Hello and welcome to another special Franchise Hockey Manager 4 stream. My name is Adam. I'm the community manager. With me, as always, is FHM Producer Jeff. Say hi, Jeff.
Hey, everybody.
And we are back with our 1980s Toronto Maple Leafs stream because Jeff is making us.
Well, we started out in 78. We're trying to avoid the collapse that happened to the real Leafs in the 80s, and so far so good. We finished fairly strongly this year. We made it into the playoffs and sort of accidentally played our first playoff game last time, so we're already up 1-0 on the Blues best of 5 series.
Which isn't a bad thing.
Yeah. But just to summarize where we are, we've replaced it. We haven't gone on the crazy trading spree that the real Leafs did, and where basically all of their good players wound up getting dumped in a 2 or 3 year span. But we've added a lot of guys. Yeah, we've kept some of the guys that got traded. Added a lot of new guys. Picked up some good ones in the draft. Signed a few solid free agents, and we're in pretty good shape. The big problem is that we're in the same league as the late '70s Canadiens, early '80s Islanders. So they sort of just roll through everybody, and we're going to have to deal with that at some point.
If I'm wrong, we did pick up an extra first-round pick.
I can tell you that in a second. Yes, we have the Kings' first-round pick. It is a non-lottery pick, so take a quick look at the league standings. We will be... Looks like that's 8th overall, so we will get a decent draft pick.
Not bad.
But I think our lineup is pretty much okay because we won that last game. I don't want to mess with it at all. I think we can go into this first game. We'll probably play a little slower than we normally do through the playoffs, unless we happen to get knocked out early, but that's not going to happen, right?
Us get knocked out in a stream early?
No, never happens.
Never. What could that possibly do?
So,
Hi, Peter. And Firehawk2764 in the chat says, I just bought your Out of the Park Baseball 19 today, and it is a great game.
Yeah, good to hear.
It.
Yep.
I'm guessing you bought that on the All-Star sale?
Oh, yeah, it's still going. Yeah, Marcus was in D.C. yesterday for the All-Star game. Rich was down there as well, too, our PR guy, and Matt, the other coder on Out of the Park. We get, because we're officially licensed by MLB, they're nice enough to give us a few tickets, so once in a while the guys manage to make it down to the game. Would be nice if the NHL did the same, hint hint. Not that they're listening.
I don't even know where the NHL All-Star game is this next year, to be honest.
Can't remember offhand. Okay, so we got Game 2 against the Blues. Reggie Lemelon in goal for the Blues, and Mike Palmateer, who hasn't gotten hot yet for us, but let's see if we can warm him up a little. I'm going to slow down the play-by-play a bit and swap the highlights more to a few highlights, and we'll see how fast this goes. What were you going to say?
2019 All-Star game is in San Jose for the NHL.
Almost driving distance for me if I want to spend a couple of days driving.
To each their own, I guess. As we say,
and still haven't gotten any shots through the first 5 minutes. Oh, there, we finally got one. And a little burst of offensive activity there. We had a couple of shots, still nothing in yet. Looks like a fairly close game so far. But Gary Younger opens the scoring for the Blues. Getting mildly concerned so far with the lack of offense from us.
No. No worries, no worries.
And Tiger Williams ties it up. Speed that up a little bit, I think. End of the first period, and we got a 1-1 tie. Actually, I'm just going to go back to goal highlights only because it's a little too hard to read when I go at reasonable speed for us to get through the games. And Brian Sutter makes it 2-1 Blues, who are running up the shot total again. Looks like something is going to happen here. And Keith Crowder, who we picked up as a free agent last week, and wow, he gets got a quick one there, but the Blues got it right back. So 3-2 St. Louis halfway through the game.
Cooter Creative asks, so do we have the Kings' first-round pick in both save games?
Yeah,
yes.
I don't think we're deliberately targeting them or anything, but and Leafs tied it up 3-3 going into the third period, and that's a lottery pick in the other game, isn't it?
I believe so. Yes.
Mark Shadow 55 in the chat saying, "Go Blues!" Come on, if the Blues win this, we're not going to have any playoffs to watch tonight. And Tony Curry, 4-3. Future Vancouver Canuck in real life. Part of the deal with the Canucks when the Canucks sent Glenn Hanlon to St. Louis. And I'm going to let this go down to 5. No, actually, we got to ratchet it up a little bit now. Go in our global tactics and... Oops, I want the Leafs, not the Blues. Start taking a lot of risks and pick up the tempo. Can we get anything going here? No. 4-3 for Game 2, and the series is now tied, and we just gave up home ice advantage.
Oh, no.
Not optimal.
Not at all. Well...
Bruce Radcast in the chat saying Bruce Crowder, Keith's brother, was his assistant gym teacher in the early 80s. My assistant gym teacher in the early 80s was Dave McClay. He was Flyers, I think, 3rd or 4th round pick, and he was actually he was in grade 12. I think he was playing for the Kelowna Wings then, and somehow wound up assisting in our gym class. Guy was huge. Never really made it to the NHL. I don't think he ever played a game. Wound up peaking in the AHL. But I remember Bruce Crowder came in with the Bruins and then Penguins for a while. What was I going to? I was going to look at the stats for the first 2 playoff games. So Bobby Smith, we got in a trade doing well. Where's our first line? Wow, 1 point off the first line in those 2 games.
Disappointing.
Game ratings. Anybody struggling? Wow, Dan Maloney's not doing anything. He's really headed downhill this season. Not even effective as a tough guy. I don't see any major concerns. I'm maybe gonna swap. I got no real winger to put into that spot for Maloney. What if we got him in for a role? He's in the Gruden role. That's fine. No major issues with the lineups that I can see. Yeah, see, that all looks good to me.
That's the problem.
Couple of news stories. Scouting reports, nothing big. Okay, on to Game 3, I guess. In St. Louis, at the old Checker Dome.
There's a name you don't hear very often.
Yeah, the Ralston was it? I think that was one of the first corporate name stadiums, wasn't it? It was the Purina or Ralston Purina Checkerdome for a while.
Food for sure.
Yeah. And Joey Mullen makes it 1-0 for us. Our free agent signings in the off-season, but Larry Patey evens it up right away for the Blues on their first shot of the game. Really like Palmatier to step it up in this series at some point, because we may need the help. And it would be nice for our first line to show up at some point, too.
So demanding, Jeff.
Looked like the Blues were going to score, but we came back up the ice, and Kevin Lowe gets it for us.
All right. Kevin Lowe was our first-round pick this past year.
And ironically enough, Yari Curry ties it for the Blues. So the guys who would have wound up owing to the Oilers, for real, trade goals here. Halfway through the second, still tied 2-2.
Excellent.
Sittlers, yeah, they're getting enough playing time. That's not the issue. And we're really dominating them on shots, 22-9 through end of the second. I'm just going to keep my finger on the stop button if they get a quick goal. Wow, we gave them a 2-man advantage here, and they only had one shot. 10 minutes to go, nothing yet. We had a power play, but handed that right back. Then took another penalty, and took another 2-man advantage, and Barry Gibbs makes it 3-2 for the Blues. So I've got to go back to attacking a little more. Stupid penalties killed us this time.
Always do.
But Joe Mullen evens it up. So let's get the risk-taking back down to a normal level. But naturally, Palmatier lets it in with a minute 40 left, and that is the end. 4-3 Blues. We can lose one more game, and we're done.
Come on.
Oh, Bluffton, Stevens, and Bellows. Wow, what was Stevenson? Played ball hockey with Scott Stevens. Must have been a little scary.
As long as you kept your head up, you'd probably be fine.
Yeah. I'm just picturing an 8-year-old coming through center ice or the middle of the road, I guess, and Stevens taking him out. Oh, man, what do we do here? Take another look at the stats, see if there's anything I can... Yeah, Maloney, do I maybe need to shuffle a defenseman? Who have we got? Johansson sitting out now. Oh, Dave Ferris seems to have slipped a little bit. Quenville is too much, Quenville's too good now to take out. Everybody's relatively... I'm going to... Johansson in for Ferris? Yeah, why not? Don't want to do anything with the centers. Okay, maybe the end for us. One more game in St. Louis. Can we at least get this back to Toronto?
I believe.
And Gary Unger scores 34 seconds in. What were you going to believe?
I believe.
But Lanny McDonald tying it up. So that's the first line finally. So maybe they're finally gotten on track and we're going to do something here.
Probably not.
I hope. Still taking a lot of penalties, and the Blues outshot us 10-3, and Bobby Smith makes it 2-1 though with a minute left in the period. So we're going to, despite getting outshot 10-4, we came out of that period with a 2-1 lead. Larry Patey ties it up for them. I think that's his second of the game for them. He's the the Unger had the first one, but he's had a couple of series, and he's a checking forward, so that's not really saying great things about our D or goaltending. Another close game. Only a couple of shots behind, and looks like it may be tied going into the third. I'm doing a little better on special teams. Any particularly bad games? No, Smith's playing a really good game for us. And we've taken over on shots now after that slow start. But Inga Hammerstrom, former Leaf, makes it 3-2 for St. Louis. One of the guys that Harold Ballard used to make fun of when he was his own player. Oh, man, come on. Okay, if we get a goal here, I'm just leaving it on high-risk offense because that seemed to work for us before. But we've got 8 minutes and 58 seconds to not end the season. 5, 4, 3, 2, come on. They even handed us a 2-man advantage in the last minute and we did nothing. So we lose.
Chat's getting pretty feisty.
Yeah, Toronto Blue leads. That's about it. So we wind up going out in the playoffs. And it's because of three consecutive 1-goal losses. That is sad. Starting to understand why Ballard got frustrated with the team. So the other first-round series, Vancouver actually came out of theirs, but they get Montreal in the next round, so that will probably end quickly. Atlanta beat the Whalers. They're up against the Sabres. St. Louis gets to face the Islanders, so if that had been us, we probably would have been headed out in this round too. And Boston-Philadelphia series for the last one. That should be a good one. We'll just jump forward to that, and I guess I'll forward to the end of the season and the draft. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we re-signed all our free agents, so we don't have much.
Did you check, or is it...
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, okay. Montreal sweeps the Canucks. No surprise there, although it's a surprise that the Canucks made it to the second round. I think that would have been their first playoff win ever, when they beat the Oilers in 3 in this game. Atlanta, surprisingly, over the Sabres, and the Islanders up 3-1 on the Blues, and the Flyers swept out the Bruins. This is the year the Flyers had that really long winning streak and wound up losing in the finals to the Islanders. Now we got Jimmy Jones on... How much depth have we got in New Brunswick for forwards? Not a whole lot. I think I want to re-sign Jones. Hubert can go, Neely can go. They're just down to half a star. Don Cutts, I think that was just a throwaway we got in the trade. We don't really need him. And Warner, yeah, same thing. Bunch of guys in their late 20s who are mostly washed up at this point. But I will make Jimmy Jones a renewal offer. And yeah, he wants a relatively cheap one, so I think he'll be okay with that. Yep, he signed. So we are done with free agency. This is early 80s free agency, remember, so we won't actually be able to sign any decent players, more than likely.
Oh, there's one guy available.
Are you looking at Russians?
No, I am not. But there is one person of interest.
Okay, still... the Islanders finished off the Blues, and Atlanta still isn't done with the Sabres yet.
TSN analyst is available in free agency.
Oh, and we get to pick a Hall of Fame nominee.
Rekcast says, had my Atlanta Flames hat on the other day.
Since we're playing as the Leafs here, I think I'm going to vote for the... Oh, I got a couple of Leafs. Harry Lumley or George Armstrong. I will go with the Chief, George Armstrong. Is our nominee?
And Blifton1 says he traded Lanny or Sittler first.
Lanny was first. He was the first of the big ones to go to Colorado for Paymont. It was Paymont and I can't remember the other part of that deal. That was when Don Cherry was coaching the Rockies. He was real happy with that one until he got fired later in the year. And the Flames did knock off Sabres, so they're really the only upset team left. Let's see what the...
That's a big upset.
Don't think it's going to matter because I'm guessing this is going to wind up in a New York-Montreal final, which is something that never actually happened in real life. Oh, the Flyers are giving the Islanders a run for their money, tied 2-2 after 2 games. Yeah, it was McDonald first, and Sittler was actually one of the last guys out when they traded into the Flyers for Rich Costello, who never really did anything. Although Sittler was out pretty quickly after that. No, the Islanders bounced back, so 4-2. And we got an Islander-Canadian final. So you'd have to think the advantage would be with the Islanders, although I'm seeing a few... or at least Potvin was injured. Oh, the Islanders, wow, that ended quickly. Did they sweep them? Islanders win it, yeah, 4-0. Just taking a quick look at the league history. And that is, yeah, the end. So we've actually gone pretty much according to history so far. The Canadians got their 4th in a row last year, and the Islanders get their 1st this year. So the Islanders now win 4 more. Or 3 more. They'd need 4 to match the Canadians in the 50s. And do we get any awards? Nope, nothing at all. Alright, I think I will just run this through to the end of the season. And what free agent were you looking at that you saw? Was it somebody as a free agent? I don't see him as a free agent in this one.
He will be on July 1st.
Oh, he will be. Oh, okay, yeah, because he was in college and...
Yes.
Few off-season events. Doug Wilson burnt himself barbecuing.
That's gotta hurt.
Oh, this is less than... a little more serious. Mark Tardif hurt in a car accident. Although he had a pretty terrible year, it looks like, in Quebec, and was almost finished to begin with. Yeah, so he's probably going to miss the start of the season, so not good news for Quebec. And Hall of Fame vote. We can vote for 4 players. Frank Mahovlich, that's pretty much a given. Andy Bathgate, probably told this story a million times now, but my dad used to play road hockey with him in Winnipeg. Glenn Hall, that's a slam dunk, and Jacques Plante, the other. Oh, wow. There's too many good guys in here. I've got to leave Doug Harvey off the list. So we'll see the result of that in a little bit. Oh, that's funny. Now I'm getting the New Brunswick Hawks logo showing up. I don't know how that happened. Adam's been doing some AHL, working on a package of AHL logos, and we just dropped the New Brunswick in for this game. Because it at least farm team that wasn't showing up before, and now miraculously it is. Steen is up to 1.5 stars. Ray Allison, same thing. So Steen will actually probably be on the main roster next year, which is, I think, a year early compared to a year or two early. He was like 82 or 83 before he joined the Jets for real.
Something like that.
Oh, I got coaching and scouting staff to deal with. We forgot to re-sign those guys. But fortunately, we got emails from all of them. And just double check the personnel screen to make sure I haven't missed anybody. Doesn't look like it. It's good. Almost to the regular season changeover, and we'll be getting to the draft shortly after that. And our season summary. Reached the playoffs, had a winning season. I don't think I'm going to have a great score here. 20, same as last year. Consistent, at least. And where will I put my points? One more in tactics. Kind of neglecting the coaching categories, but I think I bumped them up a bit last year. And now we get to the season changeover on July 1st, so that'll take a minute to get through this. Oh, went quicker than I thought.
It's always pretty quick in that.
Yeah, it's historical, so there's less for the AI to deal with. Entry draft order. We are drafting. There's that King's pick we have. It's number 8, and we get number 15. So should be enough to get a decent player board confidence. Fortunately, we don't have Harold Ballard, and he only wants us to get into the playoffs this year. So this guy is pretty tolerant.
Awesome.
And when's the draft coming up? Draft should be... I'll check to see if anybody wound up going to free agency, but highly unlikely it's anybody useful. Yeah, Dave Poulin. As you said, we'll try to grab him.
Be a good depth addition.
Wow, he wants a lot. I'm going to come down, bring it down. Manually type it. Slightly for the first couple of years. I hope that doesn't cost us if he signs with somebody else. Come on. Oh, no flexibility at all. Okay, I'll give him exactly what he asked for, and we'll see if we get a match beat everybody else for him. Other than that, Gilles Lupien. Somehow looks like Hartford dumped him. He's floating around. Randy Holt, tough guy. Brian McClellan, who had 1 or 2 good seasons for the Kings, but doesn't have much potential in this game, looks like. Ilka Sinisalo, who I don't think we really need another winger.
Blift in the chat says...
Yeah, I was just reading it. Go ahead.
When you play the next game, could you give a quick rundown of what the colors indicate on offensive-defensive comparisons?
Yeah, we'll do. That's the tactical advantage. And looks like we did get Poulin. Big Chicago, Washington trade. Tony Esposito, kind of near the end of his career, but gets dumped to Washington for a third rounder, although it looks like he was only playing as a backup for the Hawks this year, and it was Washington that wound up trading for Mike Palmateer in the real NHL, so looks like they go with the older goalie instead. Poulin wants 20, he can have it. So that's a good addition without even getting to the draft. And July 3rd draft is tomorrow. Okay, so this is the... Oh yeah, this is the good draft. The coffee, Savard, etc., etc. Forgot how strong this one is, so we should be able to get at least one borderline franchise type guy and then another decent depth player at 15. So I'll just go through the first 8 picks. Hartford taking Chris Chelios first overall. Coffey to the Jets. Larry Murphy to the Capitals, where he wound up eventually. Denny Savard to Minnesota. Dave Babich to the Rangers. Kelly Rudy to the Blackhawks. Adam Oates to the Penguins, and we are there at... Oh, man. We're picking next, and one of our best options is Barry Peterson. Go ahead and make your Neely joke.
No.
Too easy?
Oh, yeah, too easy.
But I think I'd rather have Steve Larmer anyhow, because he's going to be around a lot longer.
It's him or Sutter, or maybe Courtnall.
Yeah, Courtnall's half a star down. Sutter's starting lower, and we've already got... We're kind of loaded on centers. We've got Smith and Sittler already, and McKechnie is a third liner, and Steen coming up, so I don't think we really need a center as bad as we do. One more winger.
Alright, sounds like a plan to me.
Although we do have McDonald and Mullen, so we're going to be loaded on the right side too, but okay, we'll have 3 good lines. Oops.
And then we pick again at 15.
So I'm going to go with Larmer. Maybe a defenseman at 15, unless there happens to be a decent goalie available. And we'll just do pick until human.
Don Beaupre probably will be available.
And Clint Malarchuk's there as well. Oh, it's all future Canucks here. We got Sundstrom, Courtnall, Petri Skriko. And I'm not... okay, Norm Rochefort and Craig Ludwig are the 2 best available defensemen, both really defensive guys. Which may not be a bad thing, because I think we're the one solid defensive defenseman we had. Farish looked like he was slipping a bit. So what do you think? It's either one of... whoops, went too far.
Well,
one of Rochefort and Ludwig, or either Malarchuk or Beaupre as the goalie.
We have a... This is... sorry, I guess we have a second round pick, and then we're off the map. So it depends. We could get by with a 2-star goalie.
We do have Dion and Palmateer, and Palmateer in real life went downhill because he got injured. So I think we may be okay without him for a while. I think I'm going to go with a D because that's going to help us right now.
Okay, so who are you taking them?
It's either Rochefort or Ludwig. They're both 2 stars right now. I think I'm going to go with Rochefort because he was a little better than Ludwig from what I remember.
Top guy on my list left, again, games same but different, is Jamie McCowan. Yeah.
And okay, I just shot us through to the next pick, the second rounder. Semenov, the Russian's the top guy available. We don't want him because he's not going to sign. Let's see. Dave Hannon, good checking center. Steve Conroyd.
You got to take Cunnyworth.
We are a little short on the left side. It's just so... Yeah, I think I got to go with Cunnyworth.
And that basically wraps up our draft.
Oh, we got one more.
Well, we got 2 late picks.
We got 2 late picks, but it's the Czech and the Russian who aren't going to come over.
Well, we could take Kirk McCaskill if he's still there in your game. He's there in mine.
Yeah, future California Angel. Although I think we should probably be drafting for defensive depth because we've had a bunch of... Oh, no, I see look who we got here. Elaine Vigneault.
Yeah, that's who I just saw. And I'm like, well, that's probably who you're going to take, huh?
Yep, grab them.
Again, I think we always like to bring up, Jeff, we're drafted half-star guys here. Is that something we should really be worried about? I mean,
not particularly. You never know. Some of them might turn out okay. And this last one doesn't really matter who we take. They're all... Yeah, Peter Sundstrom, Patrick Sundstrom's twin brother, who wasn't anywhere near as good.
Hold on. Take the tallest guy left. Because that's a sweet name if it's the same guy.
Darwin McCutcheon?
Yes.
Actual Leaf draft pick in real life, too. So, yeah, okay.
Even better then.
Okay, we will. He don't think he ever. I think he had like 1 or 2 NHL games. But why not?
Now, you also told, and you've said before in previous streams, part of the reason why some players are rated lower is because they were rated.
Yeah,
this
was one of the very first things I did when working on the game, so the rating standards were a little different, and I'm gradually working on redoing all of them, but it's going to take me quite a while. Okay, we got to sign some of those draft picks. Did we have any left over? Oh yeah, Risto Yalo, who's only half a star, and we're probably never going to bother with. Cuts. DeMore, we don't really want him, but basically we want to sign all of our draft picks. How many contracts have I got? I'm only at 33. I got lots of room. Yeah.
Would love to see you guys do a historical fantasy draft. In what year, I guess maybe it's the better question. $1993. Right? That'd be a great year.
Yeah. Actually, I think I'm just going to sign all of our unsigned free agents because there's lots of room on the roster for them, and you never know who's going to develop.
Good call. Is this the 19 version? This is the franchise hockey manager, not out the park baseball.
Yeah.
Yep.
We got a while to go to hit 19 on FHM.
Yep.
Another 15 years. And it looks like Larmer's signed, and he wants Michel Goulet's number, so he can't have that. But number 8 is actually open, so he can have that. And a couple of contract updates, nothing yet. A fairly big trade, the Islanders and Canadiens after that final. Bob Lorimer to Montreal for Mark Napier to the going to the Islanders. That's going to make the Islanders even stronger. I don't know why Montreal would have done that.
To upset us all.
Oh, somebody actually tried for restricted free agent signing. Boston offer sheeted Jill Lupien. Okay, got a couple of guys signed here. Cunningworth wants 7, but that belongs to Mullen, so he can have 23. Doesn't like it, but too bad. Risto Yalo. I think I've offered all these guys contracts at this point. Oh, I did have an offer in already on Vino. And just finishing up the last of these off-season signings. That should be the end of it. Yeah, I don't think I need that. Be like the 6th string goalie. I think we can get by without him. Gonna move Steen and Allison up to the Toronto roster for now, and I guess Marco Barron as well. He's up to 1.5 stars. And no, I don't think we need to move anybody else up. Can probably just rotate this around to the beginning of the... Well, let's see what the AI would do with... Oh no, I want to go through training camp first before I try to shuffle the roster around. Okay, I think that's all the numbers assigned. The Hall of Fame announcement. Frank Mahovlich, Doug Mons, Henri Richard, and Rod Gilbert. I think we only voted for one of them, so...
Well, that happens.
Okay, Demore, I'm going to cut the roster down a little bit before training camp, because some of these guys have got no hope of making the team. So they can just go to New Brunswick right off the start, but I may want to try some of them in a few different exhibition lineups. The half-star guys can all go down. And that should jump us through most of August. Oh wow, huge trade. Colorado and the Islanders. Billy Smith traded to Colorado for Dino Ciccarelli. That's the biggest one we've seen in this. And I'm surprised the Islanders win a cup with Smith, but they had drafted. That's right. They had drafted Pelle Lindbergh 2 years ago, and in this game at least. So, as they decided he's the goalie of the future. Well, it's not that crazy because they wound up trading Chico Resch to the Rockies in real life. They just traded the other goalie instead this time. But the Rockies are looking kind of interesting. They got Smith in goal. And yeah, they kept most of the roster together. Jacques Lemaire is still hanging around. So they may actually be capable of a decent year, and I'm just out of curiosity going to see what the Canucks are looking like now. Bernie Parent, who didn't have the eye injury in this game, is still playing as their backup. Oh, they got Paul Reinhardt, who didn't show up in Vancouver for another decade or so, and looks mostly like the early 80s Canucks, so pretty terrible. Okay, let's get up to training camp. Oh, wow, Vigneault improved a ton in the off-season.
Excellent.
A few guys getting a little bit worried about those. Sittler went downhill, Palmatier. Well, it's not too many key guys. It's mostly the borderline ones. When's our preseason start? 25th. Anybody before we start the free agents camp? No decent free agents. Ross Fitzpatrick is actually the cousin of a friend of mine.
Good at creative. says Naslund was drafted by the Rockies in real life. I think
Nope.
you're thinking of a different Matt Naslund.
It's Matt Naslund who's with him in this game, but he was Montreal in real life. Marcus Naslund was Pittsburgh picker, and it was the best trade the Canucks have ever made. And we'll just ignore Keith Crowder showing up to camp in bad shape.
Blifton one says, how do you handle the Gretzky draft? Well, Gretzky never got drafted.
Yeah, the way it works in the game is Gretzky will usually wind up signing with one of the WHA teams. It tends to be Montreal. It tends to be Edmonton, rather, most of the time. But there's a chance he winds up with Winnipeg, Hartford, or Quebec too. Assuming you start before the WHA merger and play past it. Okay, there is the training camp report. Larmer coming along nicely. Rochefort, pretty good. Sittler's a little worried about some of the veterans. Sittler and Turnbull in particular are slipping. So where does this leave us? That's the end of training camp, start of the exhibition season. Palmatier is 2.5 stars. I think that's where he was before, wasn't he? Or was he 3? Salming still in good shape. Lowe has come along to be 3 stars already. Ian Turnbull down to 1.5. Ouch. So he came off the tracks pretty much the same time he did in real life. I think this is when he started going downhill.
Palmatier was what, sorry?
Was he 3 stars at the start of the playoffs, or was he 2.5?
2.5.
He was 2.5.
2.5.
Okay. I'm not imagining
2.5 ability, 2.5 potential.
Chat question: didn't Gretzky go play for Hartford first? Nope, Indianapolis in the WHA. And they
Fun fact, he scored his first professional goal against the Edmonton Oilers.
Yeah, and only lasted about 10 games there before the Oilers basically bought him from Indianapolis, who was in big financial trouble. So he wound up there, and it could theoretically happen in the game, but it's highly unlikely. He generally plays the whole first season in Indianapolis. And I'm actually just going to check on how he's doing out of curiosity. He's had a couple of injuries in this game, so he hasn't. I don't think he's led the league in scoring yet. But I'm just checking over the rest. See, yeah, look at that. Look at the right side. 3.5 stars, 2 3 stars, and a 2.5 star. Mullen is the worst right winger we've got right now, and he's coming off a borderline Calder Trophy year. And actually, wow, Poulin's 2.5 stars, so that's maybe gonna, that should get him in the starting lineup. Jimmy Jones definitely goes down to New Brunswick. Gonna have a bit of a contest for backup between Marco Barron and Michel Dion. Not really thrilled though. They're both down to 1.5 star potential. Yeah. Boy, that D is looking rough this season. May have to do something like we've got that big center and right wing surplus. I'm going to shop McKechnie around and see if we can get anything from him.
It's probably a good call.
Probably too far over the hill to... we got a few offers. Let's see, Chicago. Denny Dupere, who's even more washed up than he is. Don LeBrotten from Red Wings, although he's only down to 1.5 stars. Forget that. Kings again they want to give us Dave Gardner, who's a little better than he was in real life in this game, and he's also the son of Cal Gardner, who played for the Leafs in the 40s. A draft pick, but still not good enough. Toll Stamler, who we dumped already from Pittsburgh. Bruce Andres, nope. Sid Vasey from Buffalo. Greg Meredith, has he got a little potential? Nope. No, let's see. Tim Koulis, who was a decent prospect but never really worked out and doesn't look like he is here, other than being a tough guy. Paul Schmier, good WHA. Oh, wait a second. Maybe I like that, because he should have a pretty high leadership rating. And Walt Kachuk, who I think was retired by this point, but... oh no, he had another year left. I think this is his last year. Jets want to offer him, but that's just shuffling deck chairs on the Titanic, because both of those guys are pretty much done. But I think I'm actually going to take the Oilers off for Paul Schmier, which gives us a little more defensive depth, even though he's only 1.5 stars. We'll grab whoever comes out of the preseason looking best. See what the AI wants to do with the starting lineup for us. So it's starting Dion over Barron. Burrows on. It's a dump Turnbull right out of the starting lineup. Rochefort, well, looks like he's going to get second pair minutes. And Schmier gets in there, pushes Quenneville out. Gotta fix that. Johansson out, Quenneville in. And sitting for the forwards, Cunningworth doesn't make it. Curtin doesn't make it. Steen, although he should be close, doesn't make it. And Allison and Butler. Yeah, Allison's probably going to New Brunswick. Butler is getting close to finished. I almost want to play one of those right wings on the left side.
So do it.
Problem is,
CSI 3 and 2. Thanks for coming up.
We got pretty good depth there too. I'm wondering if we should almost look at packaging one of the, like a couple of 3-star, 2.5 star, and see if we can get a better, slightly better player.
What if we shop and see what happens?
You won't get a better player back from shopping usually, though. What I'd want to do is like a 2-for-1 trade. Running a little low on time. Let's. I mean, you can get a better player back on a shop offer, but it's unlikely, and you won't get the. Already looked at free agents. Just gonna run down this. Here's what I'll do: sort by ability, and see if anybody is particularly loaded with like 3.5. See, the Bruins have 2 3.5 star right wings and a 4-star right wing. They got Mike Gartner in addition to O'Reilly and Middleton. But right wing is the one thing we don't need more of right now. Bobby Orr's still hanging around in Chicago. Hasn't had to retire yet, although he only played 11 games last year. Ray Bourque coming off a good rookie season, I think, with Red Wings. But he's basically the only thing the Red Wings have. Gretzky, obviously, we're not getting that.
Which is par for the course.
Yeah.
The Red Wings did not have much in the early 80s. CSI 3 and 2, yes.
Oh yeah, it's well underway at this point. See, I'd really like to find a 3.5 star left wing, but there's just not that many of them in the league. I think we may just have to make our own.
Make our own what? Sorry.
Left wing by converting one of the right wings. But I would have liked to find another 3.5, 4-star player, but yeah, just not enough around. We're just gonna have to be content with what we got. How does the AI set up this? Yeah, see, it's got Joey Mullen is stuck way down on the 4th line, but surprised Maloney hasn't slipped out by now. Okay, I'm just going to go super, since we're running low on time, I'm going to go super quick through the exhibition season. I'm going to shuffle a few players in and out each game.
Bifton one says, I like to see the game have the ability for players to exceed their ability during a hot streak or whatever. Exceed their potential. Well, they will. Players will exceed their potential.
Yeah, but I think he's saying more if like play above better than they normally would, like the way goalies can if they got hot enough. I thought of doing it, but it's a real tough thing to balance properly.
Yeah. It's hard to make Lonnie Bahanuses. And there's some people going, who in the world is that?
Canuck legend Lonnie Bahanus.
Leaf legend.
Canuck and Leaf legend. How many are both?
Not many. Matt Sundin, I guess, right?
Yeah. The Leaf fans don't like when you say that, but...
You can leave your angry comments on our YouTube page.
Okay, quickly run through the rest of the exhibition season with that lineup. I normally take a little more care with this, but I want to finish this up so we can start off at the start of the regular season, make our final roster decisions at the beginning of next game. Oh, so Thomas Steen got was improving at left wing, so maybe he's the guy that goes there.
Are you going to play through this?
I only got 2 more games to go in the exhibition season. So
I'm just going to say, did you we're running out of time here, but did you want to talk about the colors?
Oh, right. Yeah, quickly get to that. I'm going to do this last one simulated, and then I'll do that with the final exhibition game I'll cut my roster down now or at least down a little bit. Okay, just do a quick AI setup. I won't pay too much attention to what it's doing, but now I assume the colors he was talking about wasn't the this is the color coding here is for the countering effect on the opposing tactic. Yeah, red has a big effect on it. Yellow has a smaller one, but still positive. But I think what he was asking about was these numbers here: the green, red, and orange. That just tells you how good the what your tactical effectiveness is versus what the opponent is doing. In this case, Rangers' offense is pretty badly outmatched by the Leafs' defensive tactics, and our offensive tactic is also wow. They must have a bad lineup up tonight because we're way ahead of them on our offense versus their defense, and they're ahead of us slightly on their power play versus our power play, but we're ahead by a bigger margin on our power play versus their penalty killing. And the green indicates the lowest level advantage. You can see that sort of in the momentum chart here. Green is the least advantage, then orange is a little higher, and red is the maximum amount of advantage. And that's basically giving your players a few bonuses if your tactical effectiveness is much higher than your opponent's. And I'm just going to send to the end of that. And we come up with the 3-1 win to finish off the exhibition season. Let's take a really quick look at what our final exhibition stats were. Oh yeah, I don't want to leave it here because we got the waiver warning. I'll have that reminder when we come back to it next time. Preseason stats. Wow, Michel Goulet, 2 points per game, 12 points in 6 games. So then, yeah, see, now the first line shows up when we got a bunch of meaningless games. Poulin with 3 assists in his first 6 NHL exhibition games. Steen hasn't done too much. Cunningworth didn't really do anything either. But yeah, it looks like we're potentially off to a decent start for next year. Because I think we've got some older guys. The window is slowly closing here. We still need to think about doing something about that D before the trading deadline. Did we get the preseason announcement that I missed? No, that's probably just coming up here. Oh, I can advance it. And I'll probably get to that. There we go. There's a season preview. What do you think? Will the season preview say anything good about us? Adam, you there?
I would bet probably
Oh,
not.
right.
Yeah. Sorry, I've been muting myself because of coughing a bit. So.
No, we do get mentioned. Cup favorites are the Islanders, but they can expect challenges from the Canadiens and Toronto. Do we get any individual player mentions? Apparently not, but hey, we're allegedly the third best team in the league now, which is better than we started off as and much better than the actual 80-81 Leafs were. I think we can leave it there. Do you want to sign off?
Sure, sounds good.
Wrap everything up.
So thank you very much for tuning into another Franchise Hockey. We typically stream every Wednesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on twitch.tv/OTP Developments. All of our streams are archived on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/OTP Developments. If you want to reach out to us on our Facebook page, we're facebook.com/Franchise Hockey Manager. On Twitter, we're at Franchise Hockey, where as well you can find a link to our official Discord in our profile. If you want to talk to us about Franchise Hockey Manager Out of the Park Baseball 19, which is currently on sale, but it will be going off very shortly, come on down to our official website, which is ootpdevelopments.com. Click on the community button in the top right-hand corner, and that will take you to our official forums. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think that pretty much sums it up. Definitely, if you haven't got OTP 19, you want to pick it up now, it would be a good time to do it. Other than that, we will be back with our Florida Panthers modern game, which maybe we can finally, hopefully sometime before FHM 5 releases, we can finally win a Stanley Cup in the modern game in a stream. It would be nice.
Working on
it. Okay, thanks everybody for coming out, and we will see you all next week.